I'm Attorney Brian Hosaka, Chief of the Public Information Office of the Supreme Court, and I will be your host in our program this afternoon. We are gathered today through online means to honor the life of a man who has somehow touched our lives, either as a relative, friend, colleague, or boss. 4 days ago, in the afternoon of August 12th, we all received the sad news that Justice Jose Portugal Perez had passed on. Group chats all of a sudden were flooded with pockets of tributes for Justice Pepe, tributes that tell and express how much he was loved by a lot of people. Justice Perez gave more than half of his life, 45 years to be exact, in the service of the judiciary. For him, the Supreme Court was his second home. And during his interview for Benchmark, the official publication of the Supreme Court Public Information Office, he said, "This is my life. This is no different from my personal life. This is part of what I've been doing ever since." Thus, it is but fitting that we, his Supreme Court family, pay homage to the life he had lived. To start the program, let us listen to the song, a song from the Supreme Court Choir, the Our Father.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil.
Thank you very much to the Supreme Court Choir. Justice Perez was said or was known to be the employee's justice. So to start off our tribute to him, let us hear some words coming from the Supreme Court employees and staff. Uh, we will be hearing first from Mr. Erwin D. Oxon, President of the Supreme Court Employees Association.
Magandang hapon po sa lahat. Isang karangalan po na mabigyan ng ang Supreme Court Employees Association ng pagkakataon na maipaabot ang mensahe ng mga kawani ng Korte Suprema sa ating minamahal na si Justice Jose Pepe Portugal Perez. Ang buong pamunuan at kasapian ng SEA ay taus-pusong nagpapasalamat sa presensya at inspirasyong binahagi ni Boss Pepe sa mga empleyado ng Supreme Court. Sa kanyang tunay na dedikasyon at paglilingkod, pinatunayan niyang ang anumang nagsisimula sa mababang posisyon ay hindi malayong makamit ang hinahangad na pag-angat at pag-unlad. Taglay ni Boss Pepe ang matapat, payak at may integridad na serbisyo sa hudikatura. na magsisilbing huwaran sa ating mga tulad na lingkod bayan. Ito rin po ay nagpapatunay na ang paggampan niya sa mga tungkuling nakaatang sa kanyang balikat ay hindi lamang pagtupad sa sinaumpaang paglilingkod sa Korte Suprema, kundi pati na rin sa tapat na pagsisilbi para sa bayan. Kami po ay lubos na nagpapasalamat sa malasakit at pagmamahal na ipinadama ni Boss Pepe sa mga kawani. Marahil naging motibasyon din si Boss Pepe ng kanyang kasanggang dikit at matalik na kaibigan ang namayapa na rin pong si Ginoong Joseph ang unang Pangulo ng SEA, upang organisahin ang mga kawani na bumuo ng unyon at itayo ang SEA. Pangunahing layunin po nito ay pagkaisahin ng mga kawani at itaguyod ang ating interes at kapakanan na siyang tunay na hangarin ng magkaibigan. Boss Pepe at Pangulong Joseph, muling magkikita na kayo dyan sa kabilang buhay. At tulad ng mensahe ni Boss Pepe sa akin nung kanyang retirement, na ibalik ang dating sigla at karangalan ng unyon. Umasa ka po, Boss Pepe, na hindi ka namin bibiguin. Hindi din matatawaran ang kanyang todo suporta at walang mintis na pagdalo sa mga basketball at volleyball games at regular na sports fest activities. Talagang mahal at hilig po niya ang mga games at sports. Kahanga-hanga din po ang mga programa at events na isinagawa niya sa pagtatapos ng kanyang panunungkulan sa Korte Suprema at patungo sa pagreretiro niya sa serbisyo. Ito po ay unang pagkakataon na naranasan ng mga empleyado sa Korte Suprema na magkaroon ng sanlinggong selebrasyon na sinimulan sa misa, sinundan ng basketball exhibition games ng mga kilalang PBA legends, fun games na tila isang piyesta sa saya na muling nagbuklod sa aming mga kawani. Hindi biro ang inilaan niyang oras, pagod, pera at lakas para lang mapasaya ang mga kawani. Higit pa sa kasiyahang sana may enjoy niya para sa kanyang mismong retirement. Kung kaya't hindi rin po kami nag-atubili bilang mga empleyado na magbigay din ng masaya at memorableng tribute para sa kanya. Hindi malayong humanga at mahalin ng husto ng mga empleyado si Boss Pepe dahil sa taglay niyang kabutihan, malasakit at pagmamahal sa mga empleyado. Boss Pepe, ang iyong halimbawa ay magsisilbing paalala sa amin na napakahalaga ng buhay na puno ng pagpapakumbaba at tunay na kalinga sa kapwa. Ang iyong iiwang pamana at alaala ay magsisilbing tanglaw sa aming patuloy na pagtugon sa hamon ng buhay. At para po sa mga mahal sa buhay ni Boss Pepe at iba pang niyang maiiwan, batid namin ang inyong kalungkutan. Naway makakuha tayo ng ginhawa sa mga taong magpapatuloy ng kanyang nasimulan. Naway damhin natin ang init ng yakap ng Panginoon ngayong araw ng ating pagdadalamhati. Hindi lang ikaw ang aming justice at boss, kundi advisor, mentor, buddy at lodi din namin. Tatak Boss Pepe ang pagiging mapagbigay, mapagkumbaba, kuboy at palabiro. Mataas na pagpupugay at pasasalamat sa iyo, Boss Pepe. Mananatili ka sa aming mga laala, puso at panalangin. Tunay kang employees justice namin, Boss Pepe. Maraming salamat po sa inyo lahat. Maraming salamat sa iyo, Boss Pepe.
Thank you very much, Mr. Erwin Ocson. Now to hear from the Supreme Court Association of Lawyers Employees, may we call on Attorney Rene B. Enciso, its president.
Honorable Chief Justice Alexander Hismundo, the Honorable Chief Justices, distinguished court officials, fellow workers in the judiciary, guests, the family of Justice Jose Perez. Justice Jose Perez may be dead, but his ideas, actions, and deeds will continue to flourish among the employees of the Supreme Court. I happened to meet first Justice Perez when he was the speaker on our seminar. That's a seminar intended for the lawyers whose appointment was disapproved by the civil service due to the lacking seminar. And at that seminar, he said that there is a career in the Supreme Court. Whether you are an employee or a lawyer, as long as you do your duty, you will earn your respect in the Supreme Court. Later on, when I became an school president, I happened to work with him in several committees of the court, like the Supreme Court Health and Welfare Committees, which was then chaired by Justice Nazario, and said committee was later on chaired by Justice Perez when he was appointed as an Associate Justice of the Supreme Court. In our works, he is capable of injecting humor to lighten up whatever burden the works assigned to the committees. In fact, Justice Jose Perez, together with Justice Mendoza, has been honored by SK for being the first court lawyers who were appointed as Associate Justice of the Supreme Court. Justice Perez has been and served as a bridge of the employees to be able to connect with in our Chief Justice. Through him, many benefits were granted by the Chief Justice, and his loss in debt is a great loss to the employees. His successful career from court attorney up to the appointment as Associate Justice will serve as an inspiration on us among employees to be continue of working dedicatedly and to our judiciary. Pulse Pepe, thank you for setting us the example to be of service to the judiciary. A pleasant afternoon to everyone.
Naka-unmute ka. Attorney Osaka, naka-unmute ka. Unmute mo.
The next speaker would be is someone who worked under Justice Pepe when he was still a deputy court administrator in 2002 until he was appointed as appointed as a court administrator in 2010. So she worked for 8 years under Justice Pepe. I'd like to call Attorney Teresita A. Tuason, the current Division Clerk of Court, 2nd Division.
Good afternoon to all of you. Well, we were all shocked when we heard about his death. We knew the prognosis, but I expected that he will be with us for at least 2 more years, not for 2 weeks. When Attorney Maripe invited me to be a part of the program, I was hesitant because, like most of you, I'm still grappling with the idea that he was no longer with us. I find it difficult to say goodbye to a special someone who has been a father to me in many ways. I am sure that everyone who worked with him will agree that the offices he headed, even committees, had a distinct feel of a family. They were our professional homes we kept coming back to, even long before we have moved on to other opportunities and pursuits. There was a saying that when you fully trust someone without any doubt, you finally get two results: a person for life or a lesson for life. He was both. Boss Pepe was not only a superior or a friend, he was family, a confidante that you will treasure in your heart. He had the gift of humor, wittiness, and happy talk. He appreciated a good joke and laughed loudest, even if they were at his expense. No matter the occasion, his group often ended up the noisiest in the room. Time spent with him always fell short. He was a legendary and articulate storyteller. He has a good and vivid memory. When he talked about it, I felt like it just happened yesterday. He talked fondly of his childhood, especially his UP days. His professional life is more fascinating. An ordinary research attorney ending up an associate justice of the highest court of the land. But in between, there were so many inspiring stories of pains, struggles, betrayal, loyalty, but mostly of happiness brought about by the love and support he was showered by his colleagues and employees. As a boss, he had no stickler to protocols, easily accessible, liberal with his fatherly advice, brimming with stories he couldn't wait to share, and always ready to help us at the slightest hint. As court administrator, there was one golden rule in the office. Ang bilin niya sa amin, lahat ng papasok sa opisina natin, lalo na yung manggagaling sa malalayong lugar, iintindihin nyo. Kung kaya nyo, samahan nyo. Ang tao, kahit hindi magandang isasagot sa natin, kung inintindi natin, lalabas yan sa opisina na masaya at magaang ang pakiramdam. I believe that is one of the reasons why he was well loved by the judges and the lower court employees. As a Supreme Court official, he was a traditionalist. When his retirement was approaching, he had one request. He wanted the en banc retirement ceremony be returned. Since he was also one of the promoters of tournaments and fun games in the Supreme Court, his retirement became a one-week affair. In organizing the event, everyone, from the lowliest employees, different organizations of the judiciary, up to the justices, they were more than willing to be a part of the program. It was a one-week event, but the easiest to organize. Boss Pepe was a big man with an even bigger heart. His compassion knew no bounds, that his endorsements oftentimes, actually many times, exasperatingly indiscriminate. He was extravagant in praise and sincere in his gratitude. He was someone even subordinates could disagree with, secure in the thought that he will not be offended. Without asking for it, he commanded loyalty, respect, and affection. Like us, he was far from perfect, but he was extraordinary and special. Boss, I can't thank you enough for your many kindnesses, forbearance, good counsel, and stand support over the years. You walk your talk, fought a good fight, and kept the faith. Heaven will be a happier and noisier place when you meet your friends and family, especially Joseph Ang and Ruben Florendo. There are also so many stories to share with CJ Corona. Boss, paalam but not goodbye. Maraming salamat sa lahat. Till we meet again.
Thank you very much, Attorney Tess Toason. Now to speak on behalf of the Office of the Court Administrator, a position once held by Justice Pepe Perez,
Okay na.
I'd like to call Deputy Court Administrator Raul B. Villanueva.
Maraming salamat, Attorney Brian. Before anything else, my greetings, of course, to the Honorable Chief Justice Alexander Yesmundo and the Honorable Associate Justices of the Supreme Court. My warmest greetings to the bereaved family, Ma'am Ditas, sons Jericho and Brad Nani, only daughter Bebel, and their respective spouses, including the grandchildren, relatives, friends, distinguished colleagues, and former co-workers, supporters, and admirers of our dear Justice Jose Pepe Perez. These are not the best of times, not only because of COVID-19, which has drastically changed our way of life so far for almost 1.5 years already, but also because we're gathered to give these online necrological services for a very important and special human being, Justice Pepe. I never expected that we will be having this only after more than 4 years since his retirement as the 167th Associate Justice of the Supreme Court. The remains of Justice Pepe are now here in Batangas City, in his home province where he traces his roots. This is the kind of homecoming that we all want to postpone indefinitely. But it must be done, as Justice Pepe is a true-blooded Batangueño, a proud provinciano. This is the place he calls home, and it is in Batangas where he always wanted to be. It is unfortunate, though, that because of the prevailing state of public health emergency in the country and the present enhanced community quarantine classification of the NCR, we cannot even bring Justice Pepe at least one more time to his former home for almost 45 years, the Supreme Court in Padre Faura. Even before passing the 1971 bar examinations and right after taking it, Justice Pepe was already with the Supreme Court as a technical assistant. And as we all know by now, he then rose from the ranks and held numerous positions in different offices therein. Before becoming a High Court magistrate or Associate Justice, he served almost a third of his life as an official of the Supreme Court in the Office of the Court Administrator, rising to become a court administrator in July 2008. If I may say so, he cherished his work at the OCA. This gave him the opportunity to help and assist those who are in need, whether they be trial court judges or personnel. To him, providing aid and comfort to those who come to him to resolve their problems is a source of joy and happiness. He is understanding, charitable, and forgiving. Pasensya na po kayo. Nandito po ako actually sa burol po ni Justice Pepe. Kaya hindi ko mapigilan yung mga tolling of the bells because we are actually near the church of Batangas City. Anyway, that is why people do not hesitate to approach or go to him, as attested already by Erwin, Attorney Rene, and Attorney Tess. I dare say that he spent his best years in the Office of the Court Administrator, and trial court judges owe him big time, if I may say so, for it was during his watch that Republic Act number 99446, which improved the retirement benefits of the members of the judiciary, was enacted into law. And what he has accomplished there, which are too many to mention, will not be easy to match. Definitely, he will never be forgotten for his splendid job as a former assistant court administrator, deputy court administrator, and court administrator. I recall him saying that he considered already the highlight of his career in the judiciary his appointment as a court administrator, and he was even thinking of or looking forward to his retirement in 2011. However, as fate would have it, and perhaps beyond his own wildest dreams, Justice Pepe was blessed with an appointment to the Supreme Court, the highest court of the land, in December 2009, as if it was both a birthday and Christmas gift to him that extended his stay in his home in Padre Faura for another 5 years, or until his retirement on December 14, 2016. With his numerous ponentias, Justice Pepe distinguished himself as a worthy High Court magistrate until he retired. The records of the Supreme Court and his book of decisions will bear us out on this. There is no doubt, though, that the Supreme Court was not only the home of choice of Justice Perez, for 4.5 decades where he built his most successful career. But as it turned out, it has become his happy place as well. It was in the Supreme Court that he made a name for himself, not only as a lawyer and jurist, but it was in the Mount Olympus of Padre Faura that he gained real colleagues and true friends among the many Supreme Court officials and staff. Not to mention the thousands of judges and lower court personnel whom he served well and who in turn respected him a lot. He loved the people in the Supreme Court and the trial courts. They have a special place in his heart. That is why he was loved back in equal measure and intensity by them. No wonder that even without anyone orchestrating it, tributes are being offered by justices, judges, Supreme Court or lower court personnel, either individually or in groups or collectively at different platforms or social media accounts. He was not into legacy building, but who Justice Pepe was, as a very down-to-earth, humble, unassuming, considerate, and approachable person, a man for all seasons and for whatever reason, and what he has become, reaching the greatest dream of any Filipino lawyer to be an Associate Justice of the Supreme Court, against all odds at that, were more than enough for him to become a legend in his own right. He was gone too soon. Justice Pepe deserved to live a longer life because he was an exceptionally good and honest man. He was a very patient and humble person. Everything about him is worth emulating. The world needs a man like him. His story, coming from humble beginnings, is, if I may say so, a good material for movie scripts or short films, where viewers may pick up valuable moral lessons and even good vibes. Thus, his life did not just revolve around coming up with doctrinal values derived from his ponencias, but more importantly, it is a worthy source of inspiration for everyday life for the ordinary Filipino. Justice Pepe, outside his happy place, enjoys the company of people whom he is comfortable with and whom he personally trusts. He's a very loyal person to those who believe in the same causes he fights for and in the same aspirations for excellence that he lives by. Allow me therefore, Attorney Brian, at this point, just to share lang a short video clip, if I may, please. If you can allow me to share.
Yes, DCA. Tiff, pwede ba natin can we...
Mag-start share na ata ako.
We'll
Disable
make,
yung sharing.
we'll make you a host also.
Pwede lang. A short lang, please. I hope you can bear with me.
Yes, DCA.
I ask permission from Attorney Maricel. Yes, thank you. Let me
Pwede
share.
na.
Share a little lang. Pardon me, I had somebody make an amateur type of lang, but I just wanted to hopefully I can share it, no? Let me just share it. Nakikita niyo na?
Yes, DCA. Kita na.
Akala ko hindi na darating ang panahon na liliwanag ang daang nasisilayan ko sa libo-libong taon.
I just showed to you what Justice Pepe received a few days ago. The ID card issued by the Supreme Court, the last one that was signed by Chief Justice Alexander Gesmundo. Actually, he wanted this. He asked for this because that's where he came from. He kept on saying. By the way, he served 13 justices before being appointed as an Associate Justice of the Supreme Court. I mean, 13 Chief Justices. Justice Pepe, during fellowships, enjoy a few drinks, exchanges stories, anecdotes, and shares lots of laughter with his friends in the UP Alpha Phi Beta fraternity. Incidentally, he is a multi-awarded outcome. He does not mind being in the company of young or old fraternity brothers. What he cherishes is the opportunity to be with them whatever the occasion may be, and whether it be with ordinary or highly accomplished personalities.
Ang kaba sa aking dibdib, bawat minutong nakapiling kita, gumagapang ako dahil sa'yo.
Everyone knows that basketball is the only sport for Justice Pepe. He is a basketball fanatic, period. That is why, before he retired, the Office of the Court Administrator, as mentioned by Attorney Tess, led by Court Administrator Jose Maigas Marquez, and the Supreme Court Office of Administrative Services, headed by Attorney Cari Cunana, organized a basketball exhibition in honor of Justice Pepe, where former PBA players Alan Taibit, Alvin Patrimonio, Jania Barrientos, and Vince Hison played an exhibition match with Supreme Court players. Justice Pepe is always the life of every fellowship, and he enjoys the attention given to him. You can say he is in his best element when he is among his brethren. Just look at that smile. It's so priceless. Like the life that Justice Pepe led. He will be remembered for the infectious positive energy that he exuded. By the way, you might be wondering why the background music is a song from Sarah Geronimo, Isang Araw Pa. For those who do not know, one of his favorite singers is Sarah G. So Justice Pepe is considered a certified popstar fan too. To continue, in his home in UP, or the University of the Philippines, he has a solid relationship with his batchmates that are from class 1971, which includes, among others, retired Justice and now Marinduque Governor Presbitero Velasco Jr. He is always in constant communication with his classmates. It is unfortunate that as the members of class 1971 will be celebrating their 50th year anniversary this coming November 2021, wherein Justice Pepe even volunteered to be among the head of the committees that they have there. They will now be marking this momentous event without Justice Pepe. The home of all homes for Justice Pepe, of course, is where his family is. Everything that he has done and has been doing and has accomplished outside of his natural home were actually meant to go right back to and benefit his cherished family. The home he built for his family is the source of his inspiration and strength. His family had been behind him all the way during his ups and downs, his highs and lows, in good times and bad times. What completed the journey of Justice Pepe during his lifetime is the family that cared for and looked after him when the going got rough, especially when he got diagnosed already with a troubling medical condition. It is the great fortune of Justice Pepe that his family stood by him and was beside him when it mattered the most. For this, we cannot but profusely thank his wife, Ma'am Ditas, and his loving children, Jericho, Bradnani, Bebel, and the rest of the clan. The sudden and unexpected death of Justice Pepe is not only a great loss to his family, but also to all of us who love, idolize, and admire him so deeply, including those whom he shares a fraternal bond with. He has the most infectious smile and the most adorable laughter. Justice Pepe did not only have a kind and passionate heart, but also he had very understanding and patient listening ears. He has the broadest of shoulders to cry on when you are in need or in despair, and the most charitable hands that give out mabuloys or dole-outs to help tide you over. As I end this tribute, and pardon me if it is taking a while to finish, let me just, because I asked Attorney Marife how long can I give a eulogy, and he said I can take the whole day, but I will not do so, let me just share with you the short message that I wrote for the benchmark before he retired, which is an attempt to try to put in 2 paragraphs the more than 20 years that we have been together in both personal and official capacities. And I quote, to say that Associate Justice Jose Pepe Perez, or JPP, a true-blooded Batangueño, will be sorely missed when he retires at the stroke of midnight of December 13, 2016, is truly an understatement. Words perhaps are not enough to describe the sense of loss that many in the Supreme Court, including myself, will feel once he retires. Still, I am certain that many of us will have fond memories of his unmatched warmth, sincerity, generosity, kindness, simplicity, and jolly disposition. His more than 4 decades of service in the judiciary, without a doubt, earned for him our lasting admiration and respect. On a personal note, I am eternally grateful for the solid ties that bind me with JPP. Having known him up close, being identified with him, learning from him, and serving under him are life-changing experiences and inspiring moments that are genuinely cherished. I therefore have only words of gratitude for a man who left not just an indelible mark, but also an unforgettable imprint as an esteemed high magistrate and an amazing human being. Salamat po ng marami, Justice. Kayo po ay aking hinahangaan at iniidolo. Pagpalain po kayo palagi ng poong may kapal. With this, I bid you farewell. Sir, Justice Pepe, my former boss when I was an RTC judge in Las Piñas City, from the time I joined the judiciary in December 2002. My mentor and go-to guy, and my highly esteemed fraternity brother. Goodbye po, Justice Pepe. I am sure I am not alone in grieving your loss and whose life has changed again because you are now gone. I never expected that the last time we talked a few days before your death, where you extended your help and support for me in my bid, would be our last. How I wish it was not so. But now this last conversation that we had will just forever be a part of my memory of what you are to me and who you are, and me to you. To Ma'am Ditas, Jericho, Brad Nani, and Doc Bebel, and the rest of the Sabile Perez clan, please accept my sincerest condolences. Understandably, your lives will not be the same without Justice Pepe. He is simply irreplaceable. May you be consoled with the fact that he had a life well lived, touched the lives of so many, and made a splendid account of himself in the judicial career that he chose. Also, on behalf of the hundreds of men and women of the Office of the Court Administrator, led by Court Administrator Jose Maidas Marquez, together with Deputy Court Administrators Jeneline Delorino and Leo Madraso, as well as Assistant Court Administrators Lilian Baribalco and Gina Ignacio, please, to the family, accept our most heartfelt sympathies for one of the most accomplished product and homegrown talent of the Office of the Court Administrator. Godspeed, Justice Pepe. You may not have been given a very long life, but with what you have done, you are assured of the eternal life promised to you. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you very much, DCA Raul. Such beautiful words on the life of Justice Pepe. Now, to render us a song again, a song entitled, a fitting song, if I may say, Paano Kita Mapapasalamatan? A song to be rendered by the Supreme Court Choir again. Together with this song, we will be presenting a short video clip of pictures of Justice Pepe. So can I invite each of you to please click on the view icon on the upper right portion of your screens and make sure that you are on speaker view so that you will be able to see the choir and the pictures at the same time. Thank you.
puso mo sa'kin naiingat. Ngayon lamang ako nagmahal ng tunay sa talanghagin. Sapat na ba ang ako ay mangako? Mananatili ka sa aking puso. Paano kita mapasasalamatan? Sapat na ba mahalin lang kita magpakailan pa man? Sapat na ba ang ako'y mangako? Mananatili ka sa aking puso. Paano kita mapasasalamatan? Sapat na ba mahalin lang kita magpakailan pa man?
Thank you very much, the Supreme Court Choir. As mentioned earlier, Justice Pepe Perez was appointed to the highest court of the land in December 26, 2009. Now, to speak on behalf of the retired justices of the Supreme Court, I would like to call on retired Associate Justice Angelina Sandoval Gutierrez, the current Chairperson of the Judiciary Integrity Board, to say some words about Justice Pepe.
The day Justice Pepe passed away will be one of the saddest days for us, especially for his beloved family. It has been said that one must wait until the evening to see how splendid the day has been. Starting from that day when he became a member of the bar and until that day before he left us, have been splendid. Justice Pepe and I were not only close friends. We were magkababayan. We came from Batangas and we studied in the same school, St. Bridget College, then run by American Good Shepherd Sisters. He had his elementary grades there while I finished high school and associate in music. So, when it comes to religion and provincial traits, Justice Pepe and I have the common background. From St. Bridget's, he transferred to the Batangas High School, where he graduated valedictorian. And from there, he went to UP, where he finished his law with flying colors. Being highly intelligent, the Supreme Court readily took him in, initially as legal assistant in the reporter's office, until he reached the peak of his career as Associate Justice. I called it serendipity when I joined Justice Pepe in the Supreme Court, specifically in the office of then Chief Justice Fred Ruiz Castro. We were both legal researchers, but we separated ways when I was appointed judge of the Metropolitan Trial Court of Manila. We crossed our paths again when I was promoted to the Supreme Court. He was then a deputy court administrator there. We worked closely in several committees. After I retired from the Supreme Court, we continued seeing each other. Justice Pepe, Adiling, and I would be having lunch at least once a month. And whenever we met, Justice Pepe had volumes and volumes of stories. He was exuberant, narrating the good news about himself and his children. Since he considered me as his ate or older sister, he would also relate to me his hurts, his pains. You and I know that Justice Pepe was a good man. And as far as I'm concerned, I consider it a judicial notice. For your unparalleled humility and generosity, I admire you without end. For your tireless dedication to duty, Justice Pepe, you are an inspiration. For your amazing intelligence, moral courage, and independence as magistrate of the Supreme Court, my limitless admiration. For your big heart, overflowing with love and care, I will value forever. For your warm and remarkable friendship, I will always be grateful. And for your landmark decisions, which will be your greatest legacy for the Filipino people, I will honor you forever. Farewell now, Justice Pepe. We will miss you even if we are no longer on this earth.
Thank you very much, Justice Gutierrez. Our next speaker was the Chief Justice. At that time, Justice Jose Perez was appointed in 2009. May we hear from retired Chief Justice Reynato S. Puno.
Chief Justice Alexander Gesmundo, the Associate Justices of the Supreme Court, I greet the bereaved members of the family of Justice Perez, my dear colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. Last August 12, 2021, Mr. Justice Jose Portugal Perez answered the summons from heaven.
Once more, the earthly departure of Justice Perez validates the warning of the author of Ecclesiastes that no one can hold back his spirit from departing. No one has the power to pervert his day of death, for there is no discharge from that obligation, no exemption from that dark battle. The mortal part of Justice Pepe is gone, but the immortal part remains. And we gather today to pay tribute to his legacy that will never perish. As the American philosopher Albert Pike reminds us, what we have done for ourselves alone dies with us. What we have done for others and the world remains and is immortal. And so, as we pay our last homage to Justice Pepe, I bid you to think about what he has done for others and the world that ought to be cast in stone in our hearts and minds. Those with fingertip familiarity with the life and times of Justice Pepe will right away reply that he dispensed justice as conceived by our people and articulated in the laws of our land. Indeed, but to my mind, what separates and distinguishes Justice Pepe was the more difficult path he deliberately chose to be able to deliver exemplary justice to our people. A snapshot of his academic credentials will show that he was no pushover in the realm of the intellect. Graduating at the top of his class or within its vicinity, from elementary to high school, to the UP College of Law, where he was inducted to the honor societies of Pi Kappa Pi, the Pi Gamma Mu, and the Order of the Purple Feather. As a new lawyer with impressive credentials, Justice Pepe had the key to the doors of our biggest law offices, where lies all the glitter of gold. But Justice Pepe was a sui generis of a man, for he took the road less traveled in life. He did not accept any position in the big law offices, but instead accepted the invitation of the former clerk of court of the Supreme Court, Attorney Romeo Mendoza, his fellow Batangueño, to be a technical assistant in the High Court. How Justice Perez was seduced to accept that lowly position continues to be a riddle buried in an enigma. Some psychologists explain this phenomenon as an act of a simple but highly moral man who turns his back when offered a life overflowing with, quote, insurmountable opportunities. From that lowly position of technical assistant, it took Justice Pepe 38 years to be appointed Associate Justice of the Supreme Court. In that long stretch of 38 years, he gained a valuable insight on how our administration of justice is run. We run such offices as the Office of the Chief Attorney, the Office of the Reporter, the Office of the Clerk of Court, and the Office of the Court Administrator. In that long span of 38 years, Justice Pepe was one of the big administrative bosses in the Supreme Court. And he gained the reputation as everybody's big brother, a gentle giant, a compassionate spirit, a boss who is a bundle of humility. And he was everybody's buddy, the good, jolly, good fellow, the go-to guy, and all called him Pepe. And he never forfeited that term of endearment, for even after his appointment as Associate Justice, all preferred to call him Pepe. My association with Justice Pepe Perez covers nearly 5 decades, dating back from the UP College of Law, where we were fraternity brothers. He was promoted court administrator, and as Associate Justice of the Supreme Court during my watch as Chief Justice. I also recommended him to be the Dean of the College of Law of the Manuel Luis Quezon University after his retirement. Yes, Justice Pepe continued serving our people as a private citizen. For he knew the advice of Mr. Justice Louis Brandeis of the U.S. Supreme Court that the most important political office is that of a private citizen. I confirm without any hesitation that the distinguishing characteristic of Justice Pepe is humility. It is humility that separates him from others who walk the corridors of judicial power. And it is humility that enabled him to do justice to our people, especially justice to those who are often dismissed as the derelicts and the dregs of society. Humility is a rare virtue, even if it is espoused by all major religions and espoused by all worthy moral movements. Thus the Hindu scriptures tell us, forget all the worldly knowledge that you have acquired and be as ignorant as a child if you want to gain divine wisdom. Confucianism advises us not to be concerned that we are unknown, but to be concerned with being worthy of reputation. Taoism teaches us to forget conquering others and to remember conquering ourselves. For he who wins over others may be strong, but he who conquers himself is mighty. And of course, our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ reminds us, never strive to be greatest in this world. Rather, let us strive to excel ourselves and do more good than we have done, both in his belief and in his behavior. Justice Pepe showed us the meaning of humility. Humility, which the saints call extravagant humility. True humility is a virtue that comes only from the pure in hearts. And the pure in hearts demonstrate this virtue by their courage to render justice for the weak, though the heavens fall. I browse over the selected decisions and dissenting opinions of Justice Pepe, published by the Supreme Court when he retired. I find a lot of Justice Pepe's decisions edifying, for they evince his moral courage to decide against the political gods and the economic untouchables of the time. Most noteworthy are his decision in the case of Mary Grace Natividad Po Llamanzares versus Comelec and its companion case, where the petitioner, Senator Grace Po, a foundling, was declared to be a qualified candidate of the government of the election of 2016 for president, which decision certainly was not pleasing to the candidate of the government in political power. Similarly afflicting was his decision in Social Justice Society et al. Versus Mayor Alfredo Lim of Manila, that is struck down as unconstitutional Ordinance number 8187 of the City of Manila that reclassified and rezoned Pandacan in order to allow the stay therein of the oil depots owned by the biggest oil companies in the country, despite their obvious proven threat to the life and security of the people of Manila. That decision dissipated the myth that the High Court cannot butt heads against the oligarchs of the country. Indeed, the decisions of Justice Pepe administered justice to the poor, not in small dosages, administered justice to the poor, not in teaspoons, but his decisions abundantly favored the disfavored of society. The passing away of Justice Pepe has not only caused wailing among the judges and justices, it has also resulted in the gnashing of teeth in the entire legal profession. Regretfully, if there is any profession that has been maligned since time immemorial, it is the legal profession. As far back as 2,000 years ago, the philosopher Seneca condemned lawyers as smothered by their prosperity. Today we are still besieged by complaints that the legal profession is contaminated with the spirit of commerce. And the most annoying charge is that we in the legal profession follow the rule of the cannibal, the rule that we eat what we kill. I thank the Lord that every now and then we are gifted with lawyers like Justice Pepe. He is our evidentiary exhibit that law is a calling and that the voice that calls us belongs to the God of justice. And therefore, lawyers, especially judges and justices, serve a purpose higher than themselves. Justice Perez is also our exhibit that the legal profession is not a mere economic profession and that its call does not come from the God of gold. Justice Pepe is our exhibit to prove that the business of law is not business, but service to God and justice to men. Justice Pepe, you have not really gone. You have just gone ahead of us. We shall see you again. Marami pong salamat.
Thank you very much, Chief Justice Puno. Now, our last speaker this afternoon to pay tribute to the life of Justice Pepe Perez is no other than to the 27th Chief Justice of the Philippines, the Honorable Chief Justice Alexander G. Gesmundo.
Chief Justice Renato S. Puno, my dear colleagues, retired justices of the Supreme Court, fellow workers in the judiciary, relatives of Justice Pepe, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. This man's death, to paraphrase the poet John Donne, diminishes not just me, but diminishes all of us in this court to which he has belonged, with the depth and magnitude of his 4 decades legal career. This is in memoriam of the court's homegrown man. Justice Jose Portugal Perez, or Justice Pepe, as he was fondly called, devoted himself completely to the institution of the Supreme Court, beginning as technical assistant in 1971 and then as court attorney in the office of former Chief Justice Fred Ruiz Castro. Moving on as a court administrator in 2008 and eventually as Supreme Court Associate Justice the following year. There was never a hint of regret nor of procrastination throughout the entirety of his work. He had an ubiquitous smile, a joke to crack whenever and quite often needed, and a hearty laughter that still reverberates in memory through our hallways. Justice Pepe was a man of honor, integrity, decency, and the nobility of a profession that cautiously and conscientiously grew with the support of past and present members. In the same manner, an equal measure of colleagues, staff, and the entire community of co-workers, adding to the potentials of the court presently. Among his historically penned decisions were that Grace is a natural-born Filipino, the politically controversial creation of a new district in Kamsu, the relocation of the Pandakan of the major oil companies depots, the constitutionality allowing the Anti-Money Laundering Council to inquire into examine certain bank accounts. His moral strength, loyalty to the rule of law, unequivocal words of wisdom, and devotion to the truth are legacies he leaves with the present and future generations. May eternal peace be with him now as we offer our prayers and deep sympathies to his family and loved ones. Thank you and good afternoon to all.
Thank you very much, Chief Justice Gesmundo. We would like to hear the response coming from the family. First on the list, I believe, is um, Dr. Donabel Perez Yoro, who will respond on behalf of the family. And after her, I believe Mr. Nani Perez would also be speaking. Dr. Yoro?
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for your heartwarming messages and kind words for Daddy. I'm sure he's delighted by what you have shared to us. Our family is extremely thankful to everyone. My dad, as most of us here know, is very simple and a modest man. He started a humble life here in Batangas. He would always recall on how he goes to school by foot with Nanay, walking 2 to 3 kilometers just to reach his school. He knows that he wants to succeed when he grows up. But it was Mamay, his father, that led him to take up law. That's why his parents were so proud of him that time when he landed his first job at the Supreme Court of the Philippines. When he reached 60, he was already preparing for his retirement. But little did he know that God has a bigger plan for him by becoming an Associate Justice of the Supreme Court. He told us that he never imagined himself he could reach that far and high. He has truly reached the peak of his career that time. After his retirement in 2016, he would wake up hurrying to dress up, thinking that he was going to the Supreme Court. I guess 40 years of going to the office was not easy for his muscle memory to forget. Battling a high-grade urothelial carcinoma since 2019 is not easy. But until the end, he made it look like he can take care of it. It is now that I recall that early this year, he started endorsing to us a lot of the things that are important to him. And somehow he knew that he will be called by God this year. With all the things that are important to you, Daddy, we will definitely take care of it. Being an employee, he was very punctual and responsible. Being a boss, he was strict and at the same time lenient. Being a friend, he was very thoughtful and loyal. Being a kuya to his siblings, he is very supportive and caring. And being a family man, our daddy, he was very generous, very responsible, supportive, loving, and thoughtful in his own very ways. We will surely miss you, Daddy, and we love you. But from time to time, We will definitely heed for your wisdom, and I know you will keep guiding us. Thank you to everyone.
Uh, this will be short and simple. Unang sa lahat po, sa magandang hapon po, Chief Justice Esmundo, Chief Justice Puno, Justice Gutierrez, at sa lahat ng Associate Justice sa Supreme Court. Sa mga kawani ng korte na sumama dito, maraming salamat po. Sa ngalan po ng buong pamilya, taos puso po kami nagpapasalamat sa inyo. At alam ko po, dahil kasama niyo po ako for 15 years, from 2001 until 2016 sa Supreme Court, alam ko po na kung hindi lang po ganito ang ating sitwasyon na pandemya, sigurado pong mas marami pa pong personal na pupunta at magbibigay pugay po sa kanya sa huling pagkakataon. Ngunit, despite sa nangyayaring ito, damang-dama po namin bilang pamilya at sigurado kung damang-dama niya hanggang sa kabilang buhay yung pagmamahal na umaapaw po na binibigay lalong-lalo na ng mga kasamahan niya sa Korte Suprema. Ang dami pong nagbibigay ng simpleng mensahe sa amin online, sa cellphone, simple notes na pinapaalala pong mahal po nila po si Daddy at lalong-lalo na po sa Supreme Court. Actually, may dagdag ko lang talaga na ang isang natutunan ko po talaga kay Daddy ay yung pagbabalanse po ng pride sa humility. Napaka-humble po niya. Na-master niya po yung pagbabalancing yun na kailangan mong pride para ikaw ay umangat. Ngunit kailangan po rin na maging humble palagi na hindi mo naman kakalimutan yung mga tumulong sa iyo, yung mga naging kasama mo noon. Kaya siguro siya lalong napamahal sa lahat ng kawani ng Supreme Court. Kaya rin lalo siguro siya napamahal sa lahat ng kawani rin ng mga lower courts. Siguro bukod na rin sa 45 years niya na paglilingkod sa Supreme Court, which is more than half of his lifetime. Yung kanya pong value simula nung siya ay nagsimula, hindi po nagbago kahit siya po'y umaangat. Kaya hindi po talaga makalimutan siya ng mga tao. Alam ko po na ngayon po, masasabi ko lang po sa inyo na kung gaano po siguro nyo siya kamahal, siguro po doble po ang pagmamahal ng aking ama sa inyo sa mga taga-Supreme Court po. Alam ko po yun kasi kasama nyo rin po ako bilang kawani po ng Supreme Court. Maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat at sana po patuloy po yung pagdarasal nyo para sa kaluluwa ng akin na mayapang ama. Maraming po salamat.
Thank you very much, Dr. Perez Yoro and Mr. Nani Perez. For our final song, let us hear another rendition coming from the Supreme Court Choir of an Irish blessing. Let us hear the song.
May the road rise to meet you.
Thank you very much, the Supreme Court Choir. This concludes our memorial service honoring the life of Justice Jose Portugal Perez. For persons who have reached the pinnacles of their careers, like Justice Perez, it, i- it is always asked of them, what legacy do they want to be remembered by? Perhaps after hearing what has been said about Justice Perez this afternoon, it is clear that aside from his significant potentials, his kindness and humility are the legacies which will forever be etched in the hearts of the people he had touched. Again, condolences to the family of Justice Jose Portugal Perez. May he rest in peace. Good afternoon to everyone. Thank you.